Welcome to the culture of New York basketball. The metro area is the mecca of basketball in the minds of many. Its iconic brand of streetball is renowned around the world. There's a long list of legends who've come out of these parts, but there's also an even longer list of should'ves that never got their shot. Dribble N Dimes is the happy place for the hoops junkie. This is where the legendary tales and the unknown stories will reside. We'll be speaking with a variety of guests from all over, whose ties to the New York game gives them a unique perspective to share. I'm Manny Digital, and along with my co-host Emilio the Poet, we're going to take you off the bench and into the culture of New York area hoops. So lace up and listen to Dribble N Dimes.
You gotta handle the rock with flair and rhythm if you want to be judged on wood grain and concrete courts in New York. This ain't no nickel and dime. It's Dribble N Dimes, where scoring never looked this good, I guarantee it. But was your reputation built from the playground up? Or did you call next and they took that ish? Or cause you weren't as fast as police and ambulance sirens? Or as loud as Mr. Softy Ice Cream? No. You see, this is New York City hoops in prime time. As beautiful as the skyline, it's Dribble N Dimes.
What's up, everybody? We're here, Dribble N Dimes podcast, episode 1. We're here at the beautiful, luxurious Renaissance Youth Center here in the Bronx. I'm Manny Digital, my co-host.
This is Emilio the Poet. What's up?
And our first guest, which I'm very honored to have with us, is Mr. Darren Quinlan. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to refer to him as Mr. Q because that's what everybody really knows him as. I've known Mr. Q for daggone near over 15 years at this point, and we've never had a sit-down conversation really in earnest about the game of hoops the way we're about to now. Mr. Q, I guess my first question for you, and please go wherever this takes you, would be, what drew you to the game of basketball, being somebody who grew up in and around the city of New York, and where has that led you?
That's a big, broad question.
I want you to go crazy.
You got 400 hours?
We got time.
Well, what drew me to the game was, honestly, my pops used to play ball. He was a police officer. And they used to meet up once a week and play ball.
Pick up.
So he used to take me to the runs. And I used to watch them, running up and down the court. So as a little kid, you see Pops out there doing his thing, and you start fantasizing. So then the basketball is there, and that was his whole intent, I'm sure. Like, I want to pass this love to my son,
Mm-hmm.
So, but it wasn't my first sport was football and then baseball. I didn't actually get into basketball playing hard until I actually moved to Long Island at about the age of, I think it was about 13, 14. So even though when I was younger he would take me, I would still see it and I liked it. I was like, yo, this is cool. All right, cool. But remember, I'm old. So in the 70s.
Let's not divulge. But
in the 70s when I was a kid, unlike now, got my V-Bucks and I'm sitting up all night Fortniting it.
Yo, for real, you do that?
We grew up and everybody was coming to my house because my pops made sure that I had baseball gear, basketball gear, football gear, and me and my boys would go out and we would play sports from sun up to sundown. And we would play baseball for hours, when baseball was nouveau for kids of color. And football, and then we would play basketball too. It's that old adage where we had a telephone pole. I grew up on 144th Terrace in Springfield Garden, Queens. A telephone pole, backboard, and most of the time we took a crate, cut the bottom out, and nailed that joint in there.
But did y'all use plywood to be the backboard?
It was plywood, and every time you took a shot, it would break.
Yes.
And you had to get another one. You find it, whatever. And sometimes we couldn't find a board, so we just put the crate up against, right in the pole, boom, and we just played from there. And I would watch all the older kids play. And the little guys, the older guys, they were cool, but, it was like, shorty, y'all play when we leave.
Right.
Big boys is playing now.
Right.
We could be playing a game. They come, we want to play.
Bye.
We got to walk off,
Yeah.
And, it's funny because they would give you these winks every once in a while. Like, you look, and we looking at them like, oh.
Like they were the...
Yo, look at my man Raheem. Yo,
right.
Raheem, nice. Yo, da-da-da. So, exit Queens, we moved to Long Island. I'm totally frustrated. I played for my church baseball team. Had a crazy, crazy good crew. Matter of fact, one of my teammates is this guy named Billy Wheeler, who used to go, here's a nugget, who played in high school. It was the Wheeler brothers played with Mark Jackson at Bishop Locke.
At Locke, okay.
So Billy's from my neighborhood, right? And we met through baseball first, not even basketball. He was a nice pitcher, and his brother Kenny was a catcher.
Kenny played with Mark Jackson.
Both of them, and Billy.
Oh, both were at Bishop Locke.
Yeah, Billy went on to Manhattan College, and actually is in the Hall of Fame at Manhattan College as a ball player. And we all played like, there was a guru, Teddy Jones, and we all played together, but I'll tie that in later.
So let me just interrupt you for a second. So you said Billy's in the Hall of Fame.
At Manhattan College.
Manhattan College. But you failed to mention that you're also in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I saw your eyes light up for a second when you mentioned Billy in the Hall of Fame, but you are in the Hall of Fame.
You know what?
2004 inductee?
I'm gonna no. Actually, it was like 20. Like 2014, 2015.
Okay, I'm off by 10 years.
Yeah,
okay.
I went to when I got out of high school. I was a real late bloomer. So I went to John Glenn High School out in Long Island. But let me back up a second because then it'll tie this in.
Okay.
Right? So I'll go back to the other question. So I moved to Long Island, and I get out here, and all these kids did was play basketball.
In Long Island?
Yeah. So it was a little elementary school in the back, had a court. And I was like, hey, don't you guys want to play some baseball? Hey, let's play some football. And they was like, yo, man, what you talking about, man? We going to ball. So all of a sudden, I got addicted. I got hooked. So, and it got so bad. And if you talk to guys that really bleed basketball, like I have this question I always ask kids that come in. I say, do you love basketball? Mm-hmm. And every kid raises their hand and tells me yes. But then I don't see the sacrifices that you have to take to when you say you really love something. I played so much and so long, the salt used to be plastered to my face. My mom's was cool. She ain't buying no more salt. When I come home, she would come in and scrape it off, put it in a jar.
I sure hope not.
But it was great. So actually, believe it or not, it wasn't Queens that got me playing. It was LI. So now I moved to Long Island at a time when it was the black plight, when black middle class folk wanted to do better for their families, buy a house and all that kind of stuff, make sure they get a good education. So mom and pops did their thing. Finally was able to afford a house out there. And I played baseball and football. I was, all-star pitcher, baseball and all that. I came out here. I played football for the Springfield Rifles. Everybody that know football around New York, know Queens, all right? Mr. Goody, in the crew. And I played there. And none of the kids, was really into that. But I still went, when I got into the middle school, I went, tried out football team. Black quarterbacks was like, what? I don't know. Even though I could run rings around the guy who was there, right? We would every day. How's the B team? beating the A team every scrimmage, right? But
These are like- so
that was
these are
my
like the-
first taste of racism because I grew up in Queens. You know, my neighborhood was
Pretty
it
mixed.
wasn't diverse, you know, but I never experienced that kind of stuff until I moved to Long Island.
But you're talking about, so those that gave you that feedback were like the more popular football programs in the high schools?
It was in the high school. So
Okay.
when I went out there, first of all, there wasn't that many African Americans, period, in the
Right.
school district.
Right.
So we went out, and I wasn't really prepared for it. I love my parents to death. There was no sit down to prep me for what you're about to experience. And, you know, we were in the beginning, it was separate lunch tables. We sat over here.
There was not sanctioned segregation, but that's how y'all divided each
That's
other.
how it
Got
was
it.
like, yo, y'all sat over there, we sat over there. People knew each other, like you walk by and be like, yo, what up?
Right.
Boom, boom. But it was kind of,
Yeah.
so football, for some reason, man, I couldn't get no burn, you know, and my dad, you know, told the coach, oh, yo, this week, yo, you know, we're going to get him in there now this week. You know, we're going to make sure. And my dad was like, all right. But then I started losing, like, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what, like, I could play better than this dude.
Right.
I thought it was it. So spring comes. I go out for baseball. Love baseball. So I'm the only African American going out for the baseball team. I played baseball since I was a little snot. All of a sudden, we out here, and everybody was like, oh. So at first, I was playing catch with a couple of kids. One of the senior kids came over, put a buzz in his ear. They walked away, and he told him, don't play catch with the black kid.
Wow.
What?
In your own neighborhood?
No, in my high school.
Oh, at the school.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's deep. So one of the black students,
This is Long Island.
this is Long
1970s?
Island, this is it. This is in the late 70s. This is my
Okay.
junior high school when I got out there.
Okay.
You know, so this is leading up to why, you know, hoops
Yeah.
came in the, you know,
Yeah.
that. So one of the older black guys came to watch me try out. He had a car.
For football.
Yeah, my man Dougal. He ran home. No, this is baseball. He ran home, got his mitt, came back, and that's the only way the first week of tryouts, he would catch and allow me to throw to warm up. Because nobody else would do it.
Right.
So you could just sense it, like, what's he doing here? Why he here? So then it was like, all right, Cole, let's get him out of here quick. All right. Let's put him at third base. Right? Let's just hit
corner.
rockets down there. Boom, and then we could be like, look, get out of here. But they don't know that when I came up playing baseball, I had a coach named Frank Mitchell who was psycho. He used to put us in the backstop. We had to get there with our gloves, and he would stand in front of the pitcher mound. And this is a Little League field. And he would say,
Ding him.
wham! And if you jump, he said, yo, man, whenever you want to stop getting hit, that's what you got a mitt for. So some of the parents, used to like,
Tough
they're like,
love.
he's
Yank
crazy.
their kids, yeah.
Take the kids and all of that.
Tough.
And my pops used to assist. And I saw my pops kind of a little uncomfortable, whatever, but I said, yo, chill. And then just one day I just got,
You told your pops chill.
I said, yo, chill. Yo, hit the ball. And I didn't catch them all, but I used my mitt to knock it down. And I felt comfortable, like, okay, these little ground balls ain't going to scare me.
Right.
So when he said third base, inside I'm going like, yeah.
That's home.
All right, cool. But this day, when I say freezing, it was free. It was like April. So everybody's standing there like this. Yo, you couldn't close your hand. So they're like, yo, go to third base. So the coaches are smashing these balls down there. So I told myself, yo, son, you ain't missing one ball. I don't care. You do whatever you got to do. So I said, I got it. So when he hit the ball to me, I'll scoop it, flip it, catch it, and throw it because I couldn't close
Yeah,
it.
grab it, right.
So, yo, man, he's pounding maybe 15, 20 balls. I didn't miss not a one. Not a one. So then at the end, he's like, hey, man, sorry, man, we're not going to be here. You got a real bad habit like there. I was like, what are you talking about?
The flip up.
Flip up. What are you doing? I said, bro, I'm looking at your hands right here, redder than
tomatoes.
anything. You can't even do. Your hands are stuck like this. So then I got the sense like you're not wanted here.
Wait, quick question. Was that your premier position? Third base?
No, you're a pitcher, right? Primarily.
You was a pitcher.
I had an arm to die for. I could throw hard. You ask anybody that know me, I can hum a baseball, football, the whole nine. So football, right? So it comes back to that we playing. So now.
So you got that sense.
So I walked away from.
So you bounced.
I walked away from that.
Okay.
But football was still. Fall comes. That smell of that grass. So when it got to the high school, because of the middle school experience, I still wanted to play football, but I didn't have no faith in, it's probably going to be the same thing, right? So I'm playing in gym, and usually the gym teacher plays quarterback.
Okay.
So my boy said, yo, Mr. Adams, why don't you take a team, let Q do the other team? So I'm like, and he's like, yo. So he calls the football coach, the varsity coach, yo, you got to see this kid throw. And the coach was calling my house and all of that, but I had lost so my pops finally told him, look, man, don't call him no more. I said, yo, you're burnt. He's burnt. He don't want to have nothing to do with it now. And I couldn't believe I was doing that. And I was like, so I was going back and forth with Queens. I was still playing baseball and football at Queens. I was going back and forth. But then it got too hard going back and forth.
Yeah.
So then that's when the basketball started to come into play. And at first I was like a little bit like I was mad because I wanted to play all the sports. But then I must have taken my frustration and just all put it into
basketball
hoops. And I wasn't very good early on.
So just give me a time frame as far as age goes when you started basketball truly getting into
So when I moved out to the island like with 13, 14, 7th grade,
okay,
that's when it started to come in, so then I got the baseball out, I got the football out, boom, and then like 8th, 9th grade, then it was really looking, okay, what's with this thing here?
That's in today's world, that's late.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I didn't grow up with a ball, even though Dad took me to the thing. Yeah. It was like laying the foundation.
Right. It was like, very casual, haphazard.
Yeah. So then, I'm out there. So then I'm getting taller, and then I'm realizing my dad's nickname when they were playing was the Swan.
He was graceful as hell.
And then I'm realizing that okay, I'm bigger than most of my friends. Cool. And then I'm noticing when we playing, I'm blocking everybody's shot.
Pinning
I'm
on
hanging
the
out on the rig. Yeah, man. And it's just like, I'm like, all right, maybe I can do this
People
thing.
Cheering for you.
At that time, no. That time, no.
They didn't have the honeys in the park like doing nothing?
No. So I went out for the middle school team, made the middle school team, and started. There was a kid that was playing, Rob Rudloff, was real good. Same age as me, and this cat was like, he was doing work in middle school. I was petrified. I was great practice player, great in the park, but when it came with that whistle and stuff,
the jitters.
I was like, and it was so bad, man. I always tell this story. My dad used to race from the city out to the island to catch my games. I don't even think he missed from
get off work and run
from middle school to high school. I don't think he missed more than like maybe 3 or 4 games.
Wow.
So he used to always sit in a certain spot, whether it was at home or the road. So I know before the game, I used to always take that quick look. Okay, you there. So I turned one day, we playing this game, and I look, he's here. Cool. Coach is like, all right, Q, let's go. So I get in. So you could see I'm nervous, right? I'm dribbling down the court. So this kid, I forgot what team we were playing, whatever. He said, "Give me the ball."
He's on your team? No, other team.
I swear to God, man, like a movie. I stopped, I took the ball, and I handed him the ball. And he took off and laid it up. And the crowd is laughing. It was on the road, laughing. My coach has got his head like this. What are you doing? So the game is over. We get in the car. My pop's driving. There's nothing.
Silence.
What the
in other terms.
Like, like what you, I can't. This is PGs, right?
Right.
So I'm like, yo, man, so he's going up. He said, yo, man, you got to do me a favor. He said, when we get home, I want you to go in the bathroom. I want you to look in the mirror. And I want you to really look in there and ask yourself, do you need to be doing this? Or you need to give it up? Because what I saw today, yo, dude, you need to pack it in. So I took a shower and all that, and then I got out, and like a movie, I'm looking in the mirror. And when I looked in the mirror, I was like, yo, son, like, what was that, man? And I was so embarrassed. And I was so embarrassed that he had to fly out and all of this stuff and race 50 minutes to get back out to Long Island and to sit there, and that's his son. And everybody knew it was his son because he was the only black dude in stands. You know, so it's like, yo, that's got to be your boy, right? So I was like, yo. But when I looked in that mirror, a sense of calm came over me and was like, you know what? That's it. I was so embarrassed that so I went to practice the next day, and cats was still giggling and stuff like that. And I had a whole different demeanor. I just went to work. And cats was like, yo, like, what happened between yesterday and that? And like I tell my players now, I use the term get better today. Now, it's a mindset. Yes, there's some physical things that you can get and work on, repetition and stuff. Yeah. But if you get your mind mentally, immediately I could see a change. You know?
What was the age when you speak of when that happened? I
was about maybe 14, 15. 14? Yeah.
That's incredible.
So every day now, religious. I literally would have a physical convulsion if I couldn't go out and practice.
So you were like really addicted to the game.
Like if it rained, my mom's gonna tell you, man, no lie, man, I'd be out in the rain playing. It could be pouring. I'm out there, I'm playing. Not 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night in the summer, we out there playing in the dark. You don't need no light. Anybody that ever played ball before, at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you've been out there for 3 or 4 hours, it's like sunlight. You could see everything out there and you playing. My mom thought I was like in a gang or something or doing for real. So she talked my pops, said, yo, man, do you really believe that your son is at the court right now? So he trailed me for like a week sitting in there. He said, these fools are running around in the dark playing ball.
So it wasn't just you. It was you and the band of Merry Fools.
It was me and my faithful boys, man. And then I started to really just like, yo, this is cool. So 9th grade came, and I tried out for JV. By then, I'm varsity coach, and people kind of knew, like, oh, cool. So everybody thought immediately I was going to go to varsity.
Right.
But the best thing in the world happened. The kid that was the protege, the Rob Roloff kid, he went right to varsity, right? And then I went to JV. There was a coach, Coach Sher.
So now we're in high school.
Yeah, so okay. 9th grade. So Coach Sher, I hope you get a chance to hear this. He saw it all in me. And he went to the varsity coach, said, yo, let me keep him. He's not ready yet. So varsity coach was like, all right, cool. This dude was the old school, tough. We took charges. This dude was like 6'4", 220. He would run into us. Like if you did one of these, he would get the ball. Get up there, boom, and plant you into that wood, right? And so like you had to man up and play.
Right.
So he called my house and he said, hey, and he was like, why's your coach calling on the phone? He said, hey, listen, I go to these runs where me and my boys play, and I think your son has something. I want to take him with me to these runs. So he told me, he said, I called your folks. I said, yeah, I know I was there. So it was like a Thursday night or something like that. So I went. So I was like maybe 5'11", 6 feet. Bony as bone could be. Mm-hmm. So he takes me out, and it's all these big, beefy dudes. So I could tell, now I know, he told him, look, every time this kid gets near you, you knock the living out of him.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Elbow, boom, blind side, running, trip, boom, on the ground, bang, boom, boom. And he's looking at me, and, you know, he's like,
you're not phased.
like, what you gonna do?
You in pain, but you're not
So
phased.
I'm like, cool. So I knew him in the back of my mind. I said, it's test, okay. All right, cool, let's go. So we playing. So the next week, so each week, I started getting a little better with like, okay, I got these little bony elbows, hit me with that, boom. I started throwing the elbows back, so his boys looking at like, oh, yo, Doug, I think he was right. I think this kid might have something here. So that year with him and him putting me through that was like, that was gold. So now, 10th grade, he knew he only had 1 year. I got to go up. So now I step into that with a whole different mindset. So I go into, 10th grade, play boss and all that. My school was absolutely horrible in basketball. I mean,
the worst of the worst.
Worst of the worst. We were in the league with Wyandanch, Amityville, Babylon. So Kim Rivers, who ended up being a good friend of mine, went to Wyandanch. The Jones brothers from Amityville. Shelton Jones played at St. John's, right? He was dubbed the next Julius Erving from Long Island,
right?
6'6", all that. And Greg Jones, his brother.
Except he decided to go to St. John's and not UMass.
Right.
Dumb move.
Right.
Dumb move.
Right. But he had a good. He made it to the league.
Oh, okay.
I think he played a year. In the league. I think it was the Sixers. Right? And Matt Bruss, was this big, 6'6", brolic white dude that was killing. Most of his points came on the foul line because this kid lived on the foul line like crazy. So, so I'm in the league with these cats, and my crew was not good, and first year in Voss did okay, whatever, was nothing special. Got to 11th grade, a little better, okay. So nothing is like fire getting anybody fired up. Then come to the senior year. That junior summer, there's a park called Wolf Hill Park that everybody used to go to in Huntington. It was the middle intersection from Huntington, Green Lawn, Northport, all the kids, everybody would come down to this park. So by that time in the summers, I was going down there, and it was an A court and a B court. All the top level kids played on the A court, the B court. So they had a system. When a top player wasn't playing, he would go over to the B court and watch. And then he could say, yo, Manny, next game you running with us. So then all the friends be like, yo, son, you going to the A court? You going to the A court?
Graduate, you made the pros, kid.
So I went over to the A court that first game, and it was like with Coach Scher. Yo. And the rule in those days, unlike now when you go to the park or a gym, okay, if you called a foul, they would send you back to the B court. You couldn't say nothing.
Right.
You played ball. Nobody was crying every 5 seconds. You touched my toenails. You touched my hair follicles and crap like that. So, long story short, I go home. I'm so excited. I run in the house. Mom, can't believe this. I played on the A court today. A court. She's like, oh my God, what happened? What's going on? I'm like, what? There's blood all on my shirt.
Oh.
Yo, I had a black eye. My lips are busted. And I didn't even realize that all my shirt was blooded. So my pops comes in like, what happened? You was in a fight? And I was like, no, I was playing ball. So I'm all excited. I'm like, don't worry about it. This is fine. This is just it's initiation. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Right. So then that was it. So the B court days were over. Boom. So then it was watching all the big time high school players that would come through there and play. And then
at this park.
So
this was like the Mecca out there.
Yeah. So then we would sit and we would look and we'd be like, so all my friends were like, you get to play on the A court. Cool. So then I'm watching so then something in me started going like, all right, cool. I'm better than all these cats. And they're, all right, so who's the best player? So when I get on the court, I check, yo, man, I'm giving you the ball. Yo, I got him. Yo, who this kid, man? I like you, kid, man. Yo, you got kind of, yo.
Yeah, I'm serious.
We going. Now, there was a kid named Rob Austin. This dude could fly. I mean, literally, we were sitting on the ground. It looked like this. And he was so smooth. Jelly, you know, we call it
Finger
the dip, finger roll. Yo, this kid was like, over the rim. Just like,
On some George Gervin?
boom, 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 dunking, jump shot. and
No
all that.
rim, nothing. Just straight down.
Yo, like just like doing one of those.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, all right, so that's who I got to take out so that I get those props there.
Mm-hmm.
So my friends was looking at me like,
You're bugging.
like you bugging. So then I started this routine of getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and especially in the summers, and doing my running, doing push-ups and sit-ups. I would ride my bike. I would run. We had this hill around the corner from me, up and down the hill. My friends to this day, I tell you, they was like, oh, yo, we with you, Q. First time they come at 5 a.m., we good. Second day, third day, like, nah, yo, son. Yo, it's crazy. Yo, you got to ride your bike. Yo, why we got to run now? Why we got to do it? I had this rock that held up my mailbox in front of my house that was maybe 40 pounds, huge. And I used to be out there and running sprints in front. So now it's like, literally, I'm obsessed with basketball. Like, everything in school, I'm playing at lunchtime, I'm coming into class dripping from sweat because I'm playing at lunchtime.
So, I mean, that's a radical change, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You go from playing multiple sports early in your life, right? Being relatively good at them.
Yep.
Getting to middle school, high school age.
Yep.
Now nobody wants you in those sports, or
Yep.
that's the sense you got. And then you get accepted by your community playing ball because that's what the community primarily did.
Right.
What was the trigger, though, that transitioned you from actively playing ball with this inclusive crowd to now you're a fiend?
It was, once I got in the circle and then I started to watch, it was a burning to be
The man.
I wanted to be the best player on the court.
Okay.
That was it. And I was like, what do you need to get there? Boom. And it was just a work ethic. So I just came up with this, all right, cool. Let me start doing this. Let me start doing running. Let me start doing this. Let me start doing that. So by then, like, you know, little reps start coming around like, yo, man, he could play. Yo, you come to the park. Yo, boom. By the time I got to the park, I couldn't even step in the park. They would see, we got Q.
As soon as they saw you from a distance, they
Now,
picked
in
you up.
Long Island, so I always tell people, if somebody from your childhood came, I bet you Manny's not what they called you. They called you something else.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And when I was in Long Island, my nickname was Buck. So everybody was come, yo, we got Buck. I'm not even in the park yet. We got Buck. Boom. I lose a game, yo, they would save a spot.
That's a school.
Yo, we got him. So then one day I had that confrontation. I grew more. So now I'm 6'2". And then now I'm like 11th grade year, and we there, and I'm looking eye to eye with the king of the court. And we coming down, and he doing that, and I'm right there going, boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. We beat him, go off the court. And I remember, look back like, yo, he's for real now. Like, yo, this kid is playing. So senior year also, a big turning point comes now. There was a teacher, Mrs. Glad.
Glad like happy?
Yeah, Glad like happy. And she smiled all the time too, man.
Okay.
So it was the Olympic year, and she had a friend who, Dennis Milton, the boxer, came. You got to look it up. He was the U.S. Olympic,
Okay.
He was a hopeful, the gold and all that.
Yep.
And she bought him out, but a representation that came with him, this guy named Jackie Knowles.
That name sounds very familiar.
So Jackie Knowles was Webster PAL right here in the Bronx.
Okay.
Now, you'll see the importance of Webster PAL. So Jack comes out, and Miss Glad goes, come here, I want to introduce somebody. She said, Jack, this is the kid I was telling you about with the basketball. Mm-hmm. So Jack looks me up and down, is like, yo, you got a ball? Let's go to the court. So we had a court out in the back. So the assembly going on, he's like, yo, Dennis wasn't going on to the end. So he took me in the back and he threw me through some drills and stuff. And he said, yo, can you get out to the Bronx? Come work out. So I go home, I said, yo, Pops, I got to go to Bronx, man. This coach wants me to come work out. So he's like, and, you know, and this is what, you know, that's why I love my Pops, you know. He said, cool, man, when do you got to go? So, remember, we lived in Green Lawn, Long Island, out to
it's 50 minutes
South
to get
Bronx.
out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, the cool thing is he was a pastor in Queens, so going back and forth was nothing. So, I would go in with, after school, I'd go with him. He would come back out to get me, right? Or he'd go later. He'd wait for me. He'd come pick me up sometime from school right at like 2:30 or whatever. We'd jump in the car. He would take me to the Bronx, and then we would go to his meetings, go to church, and all that kind of stuff. And I'd be up in the Bronx balling.
Wow.
Right?
That's dedication.
So then I started meeting like all these top ball players from around. So
Name some.
He put me on it. All right. So Kim Rivers, I was telling you about, was a kid from Winans, but Kim actually knew Jack and them was up here in the Bronx, so Kim could jump, out the freaking gym. My man Baby was from the Bronx. My man Dean Little, who was from Long Island. Dean came out after a while. We were driving together and stuff like later on, when we got to college. But here's the big thing that happened at Webster PAL. Webster PAL happened to be the home for Gus Williams. Now, they grew up in Westchester, but he had an affiliation with Webster PAL, so the inside of the gym was green and yellow when he was with Seattle.
Okay.
Right? So they had a little crew, so they was handling the ball players, started, getting behind them and stuff like that. And also, that's where the pros came to work
off season.
At night.
Wow.
So I start with Jack. We get out there. So
was it just, sorry to cut you off, but it was just like players that were local?
Yeah.
Or just
Ray Williams, Gus Williams, Rodney McCray, Scooter McCray, Chris Washburn, Kenny Patterson. Kenny Patterson, Queens, love him to death. That's my man. I looked up to him. I told him this a couple of weeks ago, man. He was a big influence on me. Went to DePaul, played with Dallas Comedies, all them dudes. When they used to battle against Georgetown, I used to watch them.
Damn.
So a hometown, guy. So they used to come up. So when we would leave the gym, you see Mercedes and all these fancy cars pulling up. So I'm going to take one step back. So before that, when Jack brought me out there, I started working out, he had a high school team, and we were playing tournaments. So we would play with all these like no-name dudes playing against, the Riversides, the Gauchos, and all that stuff like that. And we was handling our business.
Waxing.
Okay. So then now we get into college, and I come out. Well, let me back up. So now I'm connected to Webster PAL. We're doing that, right? So then it's time to go to college. So I come out. I didn't get one scholarship offer from nobody. None. I got some D3 letters from stuff. So I was kind of like, man, like, what now? So Richie Adams, not Richie Adams from Fame, New York, lefty Richie Adams, but Richie Adams, my phys ed teacher. We would be playing in gym, and he was like, yo, dude, this is ridiculous. You need to be having a scholarship. Like, this is crazy. What are you doing? Like, no, nothing, nobody, no scholarship, nothing. Yo, he got
heated.
He turned like a red beet, So he said, yo, I got a friend who's the head coach at Nassau Community College. Yo, I'm going to give him a call. So I said, cool, man, thank you. Next day, he comes back, yo, they got a workout, okay? Boom. By that time, I was driving and everything like that, so I went out there to the workout. It must have been like from the time he did that, maybe that following week. So I go to the workout. I'm in Nassau gym. All these players packed in and everything. So we get out there and we playing. I'm on fire. I don't even know
but
if I missed.
How?
Like miss shot.
What's your style of game? Are you talking about
jump shot?
Offensive juggernaut.
So I'm people would laugh at it, but offense is my thing.
Okay.
So play above the rim, shoot jump shots, attack the rack like a freaking maniac. Okay. So I go out there, I'm working out, and we finish, and the coach is like, "Yo, can you come up to the office?" And he's like, I don't know what you're doing here, right? So
he's confused.
So I'm like this. I'm like,
so Richie's confused.
But I took it. But I took it like this. I took it like, oh shoot, man, he didn't like the way I played.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I said, and he said, no, not in a bad way. He said, what, why are you here? You know. But a lesson to the younger players and stuff like that, I didn't fight academically the way I should have. I did the teacher would come to me, look, if you don't pass this test, you know, you're going to be in danger of failing for the semester. Then I turned in an A. And they were like...
So you had the capability. Wait, did you
more
cheat?
Than the capability. No,
So
more than the capability.
You could just turn it on when you wanted to.
I was so focused on...
Hoops.
Yo, ball. So, you know, so I'm, you know, so he's like, yo, we'd love it if you came here, you know. So I go there, and that year was 1984, because I graduated in 83. And this crazy crew came through at the same time. Matter of fact, the 2 years that I was there, the first year, we had this player, Mike Hammond.
Relation to Joe
Brian, no. But the Hammond brothers from Long Island, like there's like this family, a lineage of players. And Mike was a beast. Okay. Ended up at CW Post. Then Brian, I'm trying to remember Brian's last name. I can't remember Brian's last name. Lemuel Brabham, who was a big-time player out of Westbury. Mm-hmm. So it was really a fight, like, yo, man, all these guys, and then now you got Buck coming along, and it's like, you know, where we at? So I'm a freshman trying to figure in here. Let me turn that on. Yeah, I'm trying to figure in here how to do all this stuff, right? So long and short, we start off. We had a real good year, made it to the playoffs, but we end up losing. But toward the end of maybe a month before we got to the playoffs, I go up against Manhattan and I try to dunk and I flip over the shoulder, come down, and I break
a wrist.
My wrist. Okay, so I'm out. So we get to the playoffs and, you know, I'm sitting there and coach is walking down the bench and he's like looking at me like, fool, I want to put you in here so bad. I want to get you in so bad. Now, I had never stopped playing. So even when it was in the cast, I kept going to the park and practicing playing. And I got to the point, I went and got these pads and I said, look, and I went to the ref. He said, nah, you can't play with the hard cast. So I said, look, I padded it. So then one of my point guards, my man Billy Hogue, came over and he said, yo, man, let's cut it off. I was like, yo, I'm down. Let's cut it off, you know. But then my mom's was flipping and all that. But, you know, man, I was so close. I was sitting there with a saw, man. Like, I got it. So I was like, all right, so we lose in the playoffs. So everybody's like, yo, you know, if we would have had you, I think we could have been deeper and made it. But a cool thing happened halfway through the year. Coach called me in the office, and he said, yo, man, I just want to say thank you. I said, thank you for what? He said, he had a crazy bunch of, and it was hard. Like it was like an all-star team. It was like a Long Island high school all-star team. So all the top players were there. So it's like minutes. So, you know, I love all the guys, but, you know, cats, you know, like minutes. So like, yeah. So it's like, how do I
divide?
You know,
yeah.
He said, you didn't complain one time. You didn't come to me saying, yo, do this, yo, do that, boom, boom, boom. And I just want to say, you know, I appreciate the fact that you didn't do that. And I said, well, my dad always taught me that for me to come do that to you, then I got to be playing lights out, not making no mistakes, this and that, boom, to come. And I'm not doing that, in my opinion, coach, right? I think I'm doing well as a freshman coming in, averaging double figures and doing well, but I'm not where I want to be yet, you know?
I wanted to actually ask you, because I feel like between your baseball coach, the one that was, sending you skyrockets, right? Your father, who played a huge role, and your high school basketball coach, right?
Yep, Coach
Do you
Sher.
feel like that combination of men influenced you to be not only the man you are, but also the basketball player that you are as far
No
as
question.
character?
As far as toughness, and I
Toughness.
can't leave out Jack McCormick.
Okay.
Jack McCormick was the varsity coach there, and he did the greatest thing for me. When I got to varsity, you know, he was cool. He supported me like crazy. So he made me stay after practice one time. He said, here's the deal. He said, we need to work on it. You need to get a jump shot, right? Because remember in those days at 6'2", I was playing center.
Yeah, you're a big guy.
Wow.
You know, so I was playing in and around the basket because I could jump and stuff like that, cool. But he saw the fact that you're not going to be a center in college. You're going to be a guard. So you got to start working on your handle and you got to work on the shot. So he tricked me, mind game. He said, with the jumper, he said, all right, this is what you want to do in the jump shot. You want to jump as high as you possibly can and release at the top. Right? So at first it felt awkward, like jumping that high and doing it. He said, and it always stayed in my mind, he said, look, when you jump, if you were underneath the basket, you'd be able to dunk the basketball. That's how high the jump shot would be.
Okay.
So, but that's how I started training. So then I started, and that was the biggest thing. And, you know, that was it. And when I pulled up for the jumper, I was jumping super, super high. And now people will go up, and then you chilling there, and I'm just floating up here while you done? That's it?
Right, that's it.
Cool. So then I go ahead and I work on get a real good jump shot. So now I'm literally off the ground, jumping over. So thanks, Jack, for that.
That's a good little
trick. And then my senior year in high school is when I really came into my zone. I think I averaged like 18 points a game, like 12, 13 rebounds, like 4 or 5 blocks. I made all league, but I didn't make all county, and I didn't make all Long Island.
Wow. Those numbers sound.
I was in the All-Star games, and there was this game back in the day, everybody remembers. It was New York City versus Long Island. I wanted to play that game so bad. So all the dudes I played with the park and my boys, the top boys, was on that team. My boy Alex Agudio from Whitman. My boy Kenny Atkinson, who is
the Nets coach.
The Nets coach.
He's going to be on the show, actually. He called me the other day. Actually, I don't know him from a can of paint, but we're going to figure that out.
Yeah, he's good. He's good people, man. And trust me, man, he's grounded. And I think he would love, to do it. I know he's crazy busy, but we'll find a spot for you, Kay.
Cool. Got you right here, man.
But so, long and short, I wanted to play in that game. And I remember one time I went to the game, and this is when, remember my year, I graduated in 83. So who was on the city team? Pearl Washington. Kenny. Okay.
Atkinson.
No, Kenny Smith.
Oh.
Kenny Smith was on your team.
No.
No, he was in the
city team.
NYC team.
Oh, wow.
Boo Harvey. Rod Strickland. The city was packed. My future teammate at St. Bonaventure, Sam Graham, was playing on the city, so they was stacked. So I remember one time.
No, you said NYC. I was
we started
Danny Hurley.
We was playing against all these guys. So I remember.
Who was on Long Island's team?
It was Kenny Atkinson. It was Tim. What's Tim's name with the Holy Trinity? He's like 6'8". I'm sorry, Tim. Forgot the last name. Matt Bruss, the kid I was telling you about. Kenny Atkinson. And cats like that. Alex Agudio, my good friend. And I'm gonna talk about him because he's very integral for me too. So I remember one of the city dudes, I knew some of the city dudes, so I remember they was like, what you doing, man? Why ain't you dressed? I'm like, he ain't put me on the team. So there's a current running now, and I got a huge chip on my shoulder because I'm not good enough to be all county. I no Long Island stuff. I can't play in the the classic, something Newsday Classic or something like that.
That was NYC versus Long Island, right?
I can't be in there. So this whole time, so I'm burning. So I'm watching the game. So I'm burning. So I'm looking at dudes. I'm like,
I got him.
I can get that dude. I can get that. I can play, and I can play. I'll play with these dudes, man. I can do this. So it just burned me more. So I couldn't wait the next morning to get up and get out there and go. So now, that was my freshman year over. So that summer, son, so I got bigger. I know now I'm Slim Goody, but I was fit. I was ready. That summer, my freshman year, I went off in the park playing with Jack in tournaments, the whole nine, just like, and people was like, yo, who the f- is this dude? Like, who is you, Long Island kid? I'm from Queens, man, but no. But
what happened was.
But so then I started to, so now, here comes my next year. No, so now in that summer, so now I get the ask, Jack comes to a handful of us and says, yo, after I work, I said, yo, can you stay? Yo, there's some more runs. So we running with the pros? I'm like, I can't believe this.
Crazy.
So I'm like on the phone, yo, Mom, I'm going to be late. Yo, they let me run with the pros. So
long as you ain't gang-banging.
I wasn't nervous no more. Now it was about eating.
Props.
So now it was like, so the mentality wasn't, mad respect for everybody there, but I just wanted to learn. I wanted to just be in that arena. So I come out. Who am I guarding right off the bat? I'm the 6'2" dude guarding Rodney McCray from the Houston Rockets. 6'8". His butt was like on the top of my head. But we going, and they loved us because we was going hard. My man Kurt Washington, Dean Little, my man Boone, all these. So basically my whole team got elevated to come up and to play against the pros. So then I remember they was like, yo man, like keep them coming. That's the because we didn't get in there and ask for autographs.
Right.
We were like, we want to be in your spot.
Right.
But we wasn't being disrespectful.
Right.
But yo, let's go at it. So now I'm leaving my house at 5, 6 o'clock after work, and I'm coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. No, this is no exaggeration. You ask anybody who grew up in the L.
This was summer?
In the summer.
Okay.
Anybody that grew up in the L and was a part of that, the pro runs didn't start to 10, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. So we would run first, then they would clear out the center, everybody would go, and then the Mercedes and all that stuff start pulling up, and they come in there, Gus, Ray, all of them dudes come in there.
So how many fullies did you play? Like how many games were you guys playing a night?
So we start 10, 30, 11, man.
No, before that, because you said you were running before.
Oh, yeah. We would work out for like 2 hours.
Playing scrimmages and stuff?
Yeah, but a lot of working out. Ball handling, drills and shooting and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then we would go at it. So I got to go, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm saying is I got to go against the top players, right, from around the metro area in this gym, isolated.
Webster, PAL.
Right?
It's that Bronx thing.
Jack would take the ball and say like, all right, DQ, meet Kurt Washington. Kurt Washington was like my same size, same kind of thing. Kurt went on, got a full scholarship the whole night. I think he went overseas and played ball too. So I get to go one-on-one with him. And it's like each city, that's it, full court, boom, you got it. So it's like you got to toughen up or you're gonna lose out. So I'm working out with those guys. I'm playing with the pros, and part of my dream started to come true. We working out one time, and it was in between games, and I'm sitting down. So Rodney McCray comes, sits next to me. Yo, what up, young fella? You know, I'm like, yo, what a ride, yo, chilling on it. He said, yo, so I'm chilling, I'm chilling. He said, yo, man. He said, yo, you know, I like the way you play, man. He said, you know, you got the game, man. You're gonna be up with me soon. He said, you got a pro game. And I remember I just sat there like,
That's
damn.
a huge stamp right there.
I was like,
did the chip get bigger? No, sorry, not the chip.
You know what it did? It's not my head got bigger.
Okay.
You know what it did? It was validation finally, like, it's starting to pay off. It's starting to pay off. You know, so we playing in summer tournaments now, college now with Jack in these top tournaments like Rutgers and all that stuff like that, and we eating. Right? So now I'm like, yo, these are the top players around the area, dude, and we winning these games.
Right.
You know, and I'm dropping 20, 25, 30 points.
On pros.
Yo, this is like, okay, like, this is cool.
No social media back then. Can you imagine the look?
Yo,
you would have probably went pro off the look alone.
Yo, man, it was crazy. Right, so now I go into my second year at Nassau. So I'm coming off this crazy summer, all this. My confidence is like this, and I'm like, yo, I'm on. I'm like, yo, I'm getting a D1 scholarship straight up. I'm wrecking. So we go in. The first exhibition scrimmage game we had was against a school in Jersey, Bergen CC or something. I dropped like 36 points. Coach comes in the locker room.
That sounds pretty accurate. You said like it's
he comes in and he's like, yo. He said, oh my God. He said, yo, what did you do this summer? Like, yo, man, like your whole thing. And I was
it physically noticeable? It sounds like it.
Physically, but it was this.
Yeah.
It was this.
He saw you locked in.
And that hunger. And then now, the previous year, guy I looked into, Mike Hammond, I was like, I want to be like that. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking like,
that's the next level.
I gotta go because Mike ain't here no more. So guess what? Me and my boy Larry Irvin got to carry the team. Larry's another Queens kid, dope baseball player, the whole nine. Undersized power forward at 6'2", kicked
eating
everybody's behind. Everybody. So that was my road dog. That was my dude that got the rebounds. It was like, my job is to rebound, your job is to score. One time, I remember we went up, we fought for a rebound. So we both got our hand up, we come down, and the horse is like, his nickname was like, he just ripped the ball out of my hand and said, look, how many times I got to tell you? You go score, I got the rebound. So we laughing, so I'm like, all right, cool, man, I got you. So the coach comes over and says, yo, man, I wish we could bottle this game. I said, Coach, don't need no bottle. This is who I am now.
This is everything now. This ain't the spur of the moment.
This is it. We on. So now next game, 25. Next game, 30. Next game. So then now he comes in and he's like, yo. He said, you were serious. He was like, yo, man, you're a D1 player. So now I'm all region, all everything, get all whatever honors around there. I came in second in scoring behind, I forgot my man from Queens, real good dude. You know, the whole year we were battling, you know, back and forth. I must have had about maybe 6 or 7 30-point games, had a 41-point game. So now, finally, here come the D1 schools and offers coming in. And then now my mom, who still wasn't sure what I'm doing at 4 o'clock in the morning and playing outball. So I said, look, Ma, I said, the phone's going to be ringing, some coaches and stuff coming in. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
So now the phone started ringing. You know, we'd like to come meet with, you know, you and your husband, you know, to talk about your son possibly coming to our school.
What kind of offers did you get?
Yeah, you got names some schools.
Monmouth.
Okay.
Now, again, it's still like, you know, Monmouth, Fairfield, Temple, St. Bonaventure, and then a slew of like
Dribble N Dimes is recorded on location at the Renaissance Youth Center in the Bronx. For more information on the center and all the amazing things it does for the youth of the Bronx, please visit www.renaissanceyouth.org. Check us out on social media as well. We're live on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On all platforms, you can find us at DribblENDIMES. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dribble N Dimes. If you like what you heard, please leave a review or comment wherever you're listening to us now.